Okay, welcome everybody. This is our second interview of the year. I'm so excited. So we have a special guest tonight, another special guest. So we have Miss Ashley Marie. So she's here. She's going to talk about Emory University. We're going to talk about it's so much. Tonight's going to be filled with a lot. So these are some of the things that we're going to go over, and I'm going to introduce her, and I'm going to let her do like we did with Jeremy. I'm going to let my guest take over. So the things that we're going to talk about tonight with her is going to be our prayer life within our business, discipline to exercise, health and wellness, self-control. We're going to talk about conflict management skills and management of self, financial literacy, retirement, SEP, IRA, insurance, life insurance. This is something that I talk to you guys about all the time. We're going to hit on those topics. And we're going to talk about good mental health and stamina and positive attitude. And I love that she's bringing this in about the good mental health and positive attitude, because that's something that I also put on my page. If you follow me on Instagram, I talk about positive affirmations and things like that, being intentional in your business. That is so important. Your attitude changes the outcome of everything. Okay. And like I said, we're also going to talk about Emory University, which she is enrolling people now for classes in March. So we're going to talk about that. Now, Emory, her big thing is, her foundation is on how to walk away from your 9 to 5 and flourish in a full-time entrepreneurship. So those are the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. She's also going to let you know how you can reach out to her through her website and get your discovery call and all of that. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you do what you do, ma'am. Welcome.
Welcome. Well, thank you so much, first and foremost, for this opportunity. I know that we are approaching Black History Month, and I think that with everyone's focus in so many different places, for me as a CEO, I know the value and the importance of transparency, the value and importance of education. And what I found when I was looking and searching, we lack that a little bit as a community. So I'm a millennial. And some of the things that are valuable to me right now is to have things like my health, to talk about things like wealth, and to talk about how we can continue to move forward, living the life that God originally intended for us to live, not the one we see on social media, the one that people try to convince you that they have, but the real life that He designed for us. So let me go ahead and introduce myself to your audience. I am Coach A. Marie, AKA Ashley Marie. Most of you guys can follow me on social media. You'll find so many topics that you hear me talk about. You heard Latoya say this evening, and we are going to cover them all. You can connect with me at A Marie Talks on that Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Clubhouse account. You're going to hear me talk about things like faith, fun, finances, family. Okay. These are the areas that God is calling me into to do business His way. And one of the things that birthed from out of my obedience was A Marie University. But I'm going to talk to you about some couple different things before I get you there. I'm 100% confident by the time I get done speaking, you guys are going to be running to my website like, yes, I want to be coached by Coach A. Marie. She's the real deal. She's the truth. She's compassionate. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my story, because I think more important than what I can do for you is knowing where I came from, right? I'm a committed mother, okay? A mother of 2. I have the pleasure of raising not only a toddler, pray for me, y'all, but also a teenager. At the very same time, Latoya, listen, the pandemic showed us so many things about ourselves as women, as mothers, as wives. I'm also connected heavily to the military community. So I'm going to give a warm welcome and a shout out to any military spouse out there doing the daggone thing. Yes, it was up to me. I'd probably be running out in the grass with my shoes off, socks off, just feet around. Okay, so I'm country. But I value that. Shout out to the military community. My partner and I have been together for literally since the age of 12. When I look at my daughter now as a teen, I laugh because I'm like, what did we know back then about life? Right? We're using our story about our experiences with the military, our experiences with launching into full-time entrepreneurship, really to take the global stage and have these conversations, right? Because we know a lot of those military spouses, mothers,
Right.
if wives are having to do things that none of us have really had to do. I haven't had to do it for about, I would say, 7 years now. But let me tell you, when we served, your entire household serves, Latoya. I don't care if you're the military veteran yourself, or if your family steps in and covers the gaps in between. And so that's how I was introduced into entrepreneurship. Outside of the military community, I am an advocate inside the educational community. I am a number one, actually 2-time number one international bestseller. My books are available.
Congratulations. Congrats.
No, right? It's like, you think of all the things that you can do as a woman and a mother at home to generate income, and so while also being all things to your children, your household, and your mate. It's just so important in this season.
Yeah. And then, like you said, especially military, because I have a good girlfriend. We've been friends since sophomore year in high school. Her and her husband, military. She has 4 children, and actually, she has one on the way. And
Yeah.
yes, yes, this is our surprise baby. I'm so excited to be an aunt all over again for the 5th time. But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And she is a mover shaker. She's just, I mean, just how she moves fascinates me, and then having to be strong for your spouse when they're not there to pick up, to be able to pick up the pieces and keep the household running and by yourself. And all the time, if it's not for your military family, if you have that, because sometimes you don't have your own family there to help, you have to do it by yourself. So having that community is so important. It's really important. Yeah.
Yes. And we don't talk about it enough,
Mm-mm.
right? So mental health in the military community, we're expected to be so strong. We're expected to be so bold and so courageous. And so I entered into the world of entrepreneurship out of necessity. I always share my story with people that my daughter came to me. She says, "Mom, you just literally suck as a listener." I was the first one out of my house, the last one coming home. We had a 1 or 2-year old at the time, and it really was just impacting our relationship all around. My relationship with my spouse, my relationship with my daughter. I was not able to be the type of mother I wanted to be, Latoya, to my brand new baby who just came here. She didn't ask for that. She didn't ask for me to be so overwhelmed, so stressed, so exhausted. I really was giving my family the worst parts of me. They got the leftover parts of me when I gave everything to that 9 to 5, and it doesn't always give it back to you. So I coach people. I'm very passionate. You'll hear it in my voice by the end when we talk about Emory University. I'm passionate about not just seeing women win, but I'm passionate, Latoya, about seeing that family unit win,
Yes.
especially when we're coming out this pandemic and so many people are walking away having financial struggles and issues and things like that, and really having to choose, should I be the woman inside my household that knows that if I pour into my family, I'm going to get a good ROI or return on investment? Or should I give all my best to my job, right? My not
Mm-hmm.
hoping and wishing and praying that they're going to give you something back. Listen, you can put in your resignation letter, your job will be replaced in 2 days. Do you hear me?
You'll find somebody to sit in that seat. I promise. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you replace your spouse? Can you replace your daughter or your son? Can you replace your relationship with your mom? And so I want to spend some time today talking about that. I know you hit on some points, but man, let me tell you, working this thing called full-time entrepreneurship, and I don't care if you're in part-time entrepreneurship, if you are a contractor, I am so proud of you. I'm proud of you doing something outside of the norm,
Mm-hmm.
especially millennial. And we're seeing some of these baby boomers, they're doing it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this too, just part of my story. I know when I left my 9 to 5, because I worked as a pharmacy tech, did 8 years. I was a pharmacy technician, and I came home one day, and I know my spouse probably was like, she's always coming up with something, but I came home and I was like, I want to start a boutique. I was like, I want to do something different. And this was 2013, And it just kind of went, and it came with ease. That's how you know too when God's in that thing, because it was no struggle or nothing. Everything just rolled out perfectly. But it was different because, when you come from an era where it's to get on that job, stay on that job and retire, people look at you differently when you want to do something different. And then and it's funny because they more worried about your household than you are, or and it's not just your family, it's outside people that I'm gonna say this. Sometimes people want to do what you're doing. They're not going to tell you. They're not
No.
going to tell you. And then they go, how they paying their bills? How they doing this? How they doing that? Okay, well, if you want to know, you can ask me. I always tell people, if you want to know anything about me, you can ask me, but it's because you took the plunge and you went and did something different. And it's like I said, that was 2013. Now we're in 2022. It's the norm now. Everybody is finding something, whether they're doing it full-time, part-time, or if they want to do it as a hustle. Everybody's finding supplemental income.
Yes.
That's not crazy. Yeah.
Supplemental income.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I think that you're right. What I've learned in this journey is people look at you and they wish they had the courage to do
mm-hmm.
it. It's not
and
that
it
God.
takes courage, and you said it right, because it is it's many nights, even though I had a spouse that was working, had a great salary and stuff like that. I'm still a woman that it's nothing like that independence. It's nothing like knowing that you still can do. And then also everything that I've always done was for my family. Because I always say, well, what about if my spouse fell sick? What about if he came disabled and couldn't work? You always want to be able to keep your household going, trips and things like that, going out to eat. Yeah, you don't have to do that as much, but you want to make sure that your needs are met, and that you're able to do that your needs are met.
Thank you. Please tell the people.
Yeah.
That's what Amory University was birthed. You know why? Because when you look on social media and you're trying to follow somebody, what you don't know is maybe their needs are met, and maybe entrepreneurship for them is just the creme de la creme, or the whip, topic, right? I would say whip topping. But for you, if you're making this epic 9-to-5 exit and you're already struggling, you're already living paycheck to paycheck, you are right? Cutting down as much as you can. You don't have life insurance. You don't have medical insurance. You don't have vision insurance. Coach is never going to tell you to make that leap. I'm telling you right. Why? Your family is depending and relying on you to be wise this season, right? Now, if God tells you to do it, go ahead, jump and leap. But I'm talking about them people who know you struggling. If I give you $5 a day, you're going to have $0 by the end of the day.
Right.
Entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. It really takes discipline to for you up competing. When I was younger, I was a professional athlete. So going on stages, speaking in different, I've been doing this since I was a young woman, little girl. Okay. And one thing I had to learn is that pushing yourself beyond the point of no return, that takes self-control. It takes control not to spend all the money that comes your way. Even if I was making multiple six figures right now, every dollar that comes into my account has a job.
It has a purpose.
It has a purpose. Go after supplemental income. You're just wasting time if you don't have a plan for your money.
Right.
We prepare everything else. You prepare for Christmas every year. Right. You prepare out every summer. You prepare for spring break. So why not prepare to make this epic? It's one of the most.
Well, that's where I think that discipline that you talk about, that's where that definitely comes into place, and self-control. Because the thing is, you took on me how you look, the discipline and the self-control. Because really, sometimes in the beginning, I've been there. You can make great profit, and especially if you haven't seen that money before, based off of your current income, you feel like you can go out there and take on the world. You can buy this and that and do, and you. No, I'm one of those. I like to make sure everything is taken care of, stuff is paid up. Then I separate that, we talk about that, separating your personal from your business, assets. And so that's so important. Everything can't go in the checking account, coming in, going out.
But are the people ready for this though? As we're approaching Black History Month, are we ready to start having these real deal conversations, right? And if you are, you need to be reaching out to LaToya and myself so that we can continue this movement. I'm so moved by what she's doing with these interviews and different things like that. And I pray, because it's going to take prayer. It will take prayer. Building a business builds you. You heard her say it, right? It impacts your marriage. It impacts your relationship with your children. It impacts even how you see yourself. When you think you're going to step out and make all the moolah and big bucks and stuff, what happens if nobody buys your product?
Right. How are you going to feel when things slow down? And, you know, and also let me say this so you guys, because I didn't get to say this in the beginning and it was on my mind. I was going to do it at the end, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. Let me let you know how I met this lady here. She during the pandemic, I had signed up through SBA to help do the PPP loans or whatever. And my stance with it was short lived to say, but during that, while I was waiting on my contract with them and everything to come back, I went on LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn a lot. I've met some great people through LinkedIn, and this is one of the ladies here that I reached out to because she was doing it. And I wanted to know what her experience was like, and from there, she and I just connected. And you're in Florida.
Yes.
I'm in Louisiana. So I'm just telling y'all that, my connections is all over. Okay. So she's in Florida. I'm in Louisiana, but she was so open. She was like, okay, well, we can chat, because they have the team chats and all that stuff. And she's like, I'm gonna share my files with you and some things that help me. Like, she was open from day one to help me, because training goes so quickly or whatever, and then you have hundreds of people that's applying for this that you got to get their stuff through. So she was more than willing to help me, to get in there and help me with anything that I needed. And just from that connection alone, like the first time we connected, it was organic. It was organic, and we just connected and just talked about families, talked about business and everything, and that's the great thing about when you meet quality people. It's so important to have these people in your community so you guys can not only pull each other up, but pull towards one another. I'm so excited about what she's doing. And of course, when power management came about, I already knew the people that I wanted to pull, on my team. I already knew the people that I wanted to interview, because like I keep saying, I deal with people who say they are who they are.
Come on. Can we repeat it?
People who say they are who they are. So, and I'm excited about this interview. But yes, that's how I'm telling you guys, that's how I met her. It was a simple inbox on LinkedIn, and we talked, and it just went from there. It went from there. So I'm just saying, for those of you that are scared to connect and get out there, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. There are some great people out there. It really is. And we just have to open our mouths and speak and talk, because you never know who God wants you to connect with.
Yeah. And never be afraid to ask for help.
Right.
I've had to plug in and learn about resources, and plug in and learn about tools. I've had to plug in and get connected. It was so refreshing having a conversation with another entrepreneur who looked like me, sounded like me. Get it twisted. She can run with the best of them. Okay. Everyone we do business with does not look like us.
No.
And I share that with my students at Universiy. The thing about it is you need tools, you need resources. And the number one thing I hear from a lot of successful entrepreneurs, LaToya, is we need community. When you're trying to do business by yourself, it can be overwhelming.
It is. It can. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in it. You still have those days. I know I can think back, like I said, when I started, I used to reach out to the ladies here that had boutiques, they had brick and mortars. And, I shared this with you. I would send them emails and say, hey, come to my workshops. I was doing free workshops, teaching other women how to do what I was doing, and doing it at the library for free, just because I would have people come to me all the time and say, how did you do it? Nobody wanted to help. I would reach out to those ladies and nobody would respond back or send stuff like, oh, I'm glad to hear that. Well, good luck, And I'm just thinking like, well, what's wrong with us connecting? Like, if you have a bad day and your sales are down, but I'm doing something online over here, you may call me and say, well, Toya, it's slow over here. What are you doing? Looks like you're doing well. Your business been moving, and vice versa. We need that. We need that. And the thing is, I can't take anything from you that belongs to you.
Come on.
I can't take nothing from you that belong to you. You have your own mind, your own vision, your own goals. Just because we could be in this, we both coaches.
Yes.
You have your unique way of doing things. I have my unique way. I have clients that I'm going to run into that I'm not going to be able to coach. I'm going to have to send them your way. That's the thing about having people though in your network, in your community, because you cannot help everybody. In our minds, we think, oh, we want to, appease their, you can't. Everybody's not for you to take on, and for me, I know just like you're only as good as your student is. If your student failed, you have failed.
But that's the thing. We're talking about managing conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking learning how to maneuver on these business streets in a way that's still professional, in a way that's going to get us results. And you're absolutely right. Yes, my success is indicative on my students being successful. But how does Coach A. Marie define success? Because I think in the coaching realm, we have so many people, they don't define their success by their students. They only define their success by the money in their bank account.
That's no. Mm-mm.
Negatives right now.
Mm-mm.
My success is not defined on the money that I bring in. It's in the lives that I'm changing, right? My clients, I've had the beauty of being there with them when they turned in their letter of resignation. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of being there when they launched that business for the first time and they were scared and there was no one in their family that believed that they could even do it or figure it out. I was there, launched and created their first 501c nonprofit, and the people couldn't be done. And now you not only created the nonprofit, but now you have it in this, you know what I'm saying? So ask yourself, how is it that you define your success? Is it only by a number in your bank account? Right. Is it only the number of people you enroll? Because that is not success. The word of God says he desires for us to prosper. That's in every area of my life. When I prosper, that overflow, it trickles into everybody else down in my household. That is the type of impact that I'm making with A. Marie University. Whole, Latoya, I want to see them like happy. I want to see them doing what God has created them to do. When they bring stuff to me, I'm like, wait a minute. Is that what God called you to do? Or is that what you've seen somebody else doing and now you just want the money? Right. You better get busy doing what God's calling you to do in this season. Yeah. There's a transference of wealth in this season. It's the year of the underdogs. And you'll see more people like me. They'll go and say, well, who is A. Marie? Who is Ashley Marie? I'm called and I'm connected. That's who I am. That's all.
Right. Can you now share with us a little bit about how your transition looked when you left your 9-to-5 to go into entrepreneurship? What did that look like?
Oh my gosh. So mine, and I'm very transparent. So I shared the same thing inside the university. I first began elevating my mind. I had to figure out what I wanted. The second thing was purposeful positioning. So I went to places like SBA, SBDC, and I started doing professional development. I started taking speaking classes. I earned my coaching certification. I became a notary, which all three of those things are six-figure industry. So I positioned myself well because I couldn't quite figure out what everybody was doing. But one thing that God showed me in his word, and you can look it up, it says that you not only want to have one way, you want to have 8 different ways. The word of God is very clear. If you look up streams of income, God advises us that we should have multiple. Yeah. And so I started aligning myself with different 6-figure streams so that I would be purposefully positioning. And then I had to identify the business model that was going to work for me. I couldn't look at what everybody else was doing. I began identifying what my household needed. So when I exited corporate America, I had money in my bank account. We were in the closing on a brand new home. We closed with 2% interest rate. So when I tell you this discipline, honey, and I tell you about making sure you have your household in order and your affairs in order, I knew coming out, I was going to take from full-time to part-time to no time in work. And so you met me from that full-time to the part-time. Okay, right. You met me in that thing. And then God rolled me all the way out to full-time entrepreneur, because God says that it's the way we do stuff. I think that we get so caught up in the end result, but God is looking at the way that you do that thing. And I didn't compromise my integrity. I did it and I didn't have to stab nobody in the back. I did it. Work, because when God gives you that, blueprint. I am the design. I am the mold. I don't have to copy anybody's thing. And that's how, a lot of people need to think about that. But that transition was it wasn't rocky. It was a God thing. Okay.
Yep.
Husband, my daughter, listen, we are not even the same people. When I think about when he walked me through that threshold and gave me those brand new keys to enter into this house, we were happy. We are happy. And so I think that is how you leave a thing is how you're going to begin a thing. I'll say it again.
Yes.
How you leave a thing is how you're going to begin a thing. So if you think that you're going to treat these people's businesses any kind of way, and then God is going to honor your business,
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Treat their stuff like you want your workers to treat your stuff.
Exactly.
Treat their technology the way you want. You know what I mean? So we just building a business builds you. And I think that when I train people to talk, I try to professionally develop them. Entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. Entrepreneurship is hard work. It's one of the hardest things that I have had to go through. I was sharing with you when I tell you that anything that can be shaken, the enemy shall shake. Anything that can be moved, baby, he moved it. Okay. And standing tall today, but don't think the word of God says the weapons shall be formed. They just shall not prosper. The enemy, he gave us some weapons, okay, but they didn't prosper.
Right. Now this goes into our mental health and wellness. It's perfect timing. So this goes into the mental health and wellness part, because I'll just say this: if your head is not on straight, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna really have a hard time. Were there any times for you that you just felt like, I think, I thought I heard God, but maybe he was saying something else?
You like them 15 business ideas? Yes. You mean like work around because you see these people? I sleep when I'm dead. Sleep is for suckers, or whatever the song says. You know what God taught me? He said, Ashley, I can do more with your 2%, your 10% than you can do with the 90. You can do with the 100. And I was like, wow. So God, you're calling us as kingdompreneurs and faith walkers to trust more than our pay, to trust you more than our business ideas and concept. Yes, baby, go from a paycheck palace to a faith check. Yes, it is mentally exhausting. Yes, it laid out prostrate like, Lord, did I miss you? You told me to get out here in this water. I'm here now and I feel like I'm drowning. But the word says, even when it comes in like a flood, God always lifts up and raises a standard for us. He always has the ram in the bush. And so, yes, there were times when I was doing exactly what God called me to do, but my bank account didn't reflect.
Different. Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, your bank account was like, ma'am, can you go down the street? They got a now hiring sign.
yeah. And I was like, I'm looking at these people and stuff. So that's how I started getting in his word. That's when God said, Ashley, it is me who gives you the creativity and the ability to create wealth. That's in Deuteronomy. And then in Joshua 1:8, he said, you know what? You want the secret? You want the answers? You want the juice? I said, yes, give me the secret, the juice, the answers. He said, study my word night and day. Seek ye first, because that's Joshua 1:8. Then he comes, seek ye first the kingdom, and I'll give you what? All the things. So mental health for me, listen, I military veteran in the house. Yes, we take mental health seriously. My daughter, you know how many kids are struggling during that pandemic, Latoya? So imagine, I had a military vet. I had a daughter who at the time was going through middle school. I had a 5-year-old into kindergarten, and then a mom, a girl who had enough courage to trust God and listen to him and step into full-time entrepreneurship. You think we wasn't over here like putting the cloth to our face? Yes. We battle, baby, but I go to war with that which is going to war with me. And I tell the enemy, do you not know who I am? Do you not know my name? We so caught up in his name, but remind the enemy, God knows my name. You better back up me.
Yeah, and I think we all have to remember our why. I always tell people, remember why you're doing what you're doing, and remember who you are and whose you are. Because he already created you to do this. And everything that we need, we have everything that we need. Sometimes we feel like we don't. It's because it doesn't look like what we want it to look like. And that's something I had to figure out. Well, I had to come to the conclusion, not figure out, because there was many times I was like, I don't have this, I don't know this person. But you know what? Everything that I needed and everybody that I needed was already right there. I never opened my mouth and asked my contacts. I never picked up the phone and called, my best girlfriend that does PR and marketing and say, hey, I need help with this social media stuff. How do I do XYZ? There were certain people that came to mind quickly, but I was just like, I have people around me and I never used it because, again, like you say, sometimes we look at social media and we're like, oh, this person doing XYZ and they using this and they're doing that. We look at what it's supposed to look like and not really what it is.
Come on. And when
You
you asked
know,
earlier, you said, how do you know? You said it was easy. How
yeah.
do you, God sends the people? How do you know when you're no longer trying to fit that circle in a square, the square in a circle, when you're not picking up your phone to fix people and stuff like that? Emory University, it's easy for me to enroll people. You know why? Because I'm doing what he's called me to do.
Yeah.
It's either for you
Yeah.
or
Or it's not. Yeah.
it isn't hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell people all the time, when you're trying to find out what it is you need to do, your gift is the thing that you do with the least amount of effort.
Come on.
It is. Your gift is the thing that you do with the least amount of effort. I enjoy doing this stuff with you guys because I just like talking to people. I love learning. I love smart people, love smart women, especially like you said, people that look like me,
Come on.
like I don't, my thing is being the smartest person in the room. I don't like that because that's not a challenge. I don't learn anything, like that. To me, that's boring. And I'm looking around like, how do I get up out of here? Yes, sometimes it can be a little uncomfortable, somebody speaking something that you don't know. But if you're confident, you just go, well, can you tell me, more about that? I don't know anything. Just because it's not my industry, I still would like to know a general concept of it so I can be able to hold a conversation somewhere else, expand your mind past what you know. So, but yeah,
That's why
I think I just think it's so important to continue to learn and grow and use your gifts in, more than one way. And things will come to you, with ease. But definitely with the mental health stuff you have to be confident in yourself. It's okay. We all have flaws in different areas. That's okay. Those things can be worked on. Those things can, if you're not good with public speaking, guess what? They have Toastmasters. Go take your Toastmaster class.
listen,
You
I certify people. I'm Latoya. I can certify them to become public speakers. I certify people
guys.
coaches. So don't go to Toastmasters. Come to
See?
me. Come. The thing about it is you need somebody to guide you. And
Yeah.
that's that thing. You need somebody. Not only do you need to cry out, and I say cry out, you need to
Mhm.
begin for those people who are in your industry doing what you want to do. If you want to become a coach, hire a coach. Say,
Right.
hey, shadow you. Tell me the things. The biggest thing is the preparation. Tell me the
Mhm.
things avoid. Tell me the places that I need to not, spend my money. Don't waste your first $10,000 when
Right.
you're just figured out. And
Right.
a lot of people don't even have clarity yet.
Yeah. And I think another thing with you and I, we both share is when we work with people, it's not just a coaching thing. We want to know what's the real thing that's holding you back. Because a lot
Yes.
of times it's not just because you don't have the resources. It's a lot of other things that's going on in life, other than I don't know how to work a clubhouse or whatever. I'm not good with this or that, or I don't know how to make templates. No, it's other stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So you really have to build a relationship with your client, with your student, so you can find out pretty much everything about them, and you'll find out it's not the thing that they really came to you for. It's some other stuff. Sometimes it's self-confidence. They're intimidated for certain reasons or whatever. Things could be going on in the household, with the spouse. Or you have to find the reasons why. You have to pull back the layers with people. Once you do that, because see, once the confidence come up, once that self-esteem come up, then that spark will come. And when that spark happens, it's going to be so easy to teach them. It's hard to teach somebody who's lukewarm, who like, I want to do this because of this, because like you said, because it's not all about the money. The money will come. Money can be made in so many different ways. The money will come. But what does success really look like? I know for me, when somebody walks away from me and they're happy with what I did for them, they're excited about it. Now they're ready to take the resources and dive into it. And then they get back with me and say, oh, I did what you told me to do in this work. That is success. That feels good. You
Listen,
know,
when they tell me I left my 9 to 5 and not just did that, I'm redesigning my entire life. I'm shifting the way that I view finances. I'm no longer afraid to open up my bank account, right? And look, 90 days, I'm no longer afraid to sit across the table and talk about things like life insurance, retirement, will, estate planning, right?
right.
IRA. When people say to me as a self-employed person, thank you, Coach A. Marie, for sharing with me that I can start building for retirement now, and I can get health insurance and it won't cost me an arm and a leg. That's success to me. Their marriage survived this thing. When they tell me that their daughter not only went from not having a voice to now you can't pay her to be quiet, that is success to me, honey. This is so much bigger.
It's changing people's lives, you know, and they're putting their trust into you to, you know, to tell you these personal things. Because when you start talking seriously, when you start talking about family, money, you know, spirituality, you have to trust somebody to do that. You can't have those conversations with everybody. You know,
But those are the right. So you mentioned a couple things. So what I normally see, I've narrowed them down to about 4. When people come to me and they want to exit, Latoya, but they have 4 things that are really rooted. Number 1, lack of confidence and courage. Number most of them lack the financial means, right? Number 3, some people lack the business education. They're just terrified, right? They don't, a lot of them don't know how to build businesses. And I'm not talking about solopreneur. I'm talking about actual entrepreneurship where you're building companies and you're understanding taxes and structure and different things like that, and payroll and human resources. I mean, really setting your business up for success, not just for today, but generations to come for generational wealth. And that's the difference at A. Marie University. My goal is to set the students up for success, not just today, but for years to come. And then a lot of us lack faith. And the word says it's impossible to please him without the faith. And so we need those things, Latoya. And have them, then hire a good coach. Please don't hire an exhausted, burnt out coach coining themselves as a master anything when they really don't care about people. I encourage my students to run like a gazelle. The word says run like a gazelle, especially when it comes to financial commitments and debt, Latoya. Look up a gazelle. They run fast you turn the other way and you run, because a lot of people in the first couple of years of entrepreneurship, and we're seasoned, right? You mentioned 2030. We are seasoned entrepreneurs who have rolled this thing out a lot.
Yeah, I was when I got into the e-commerce thing, a lot of people wasn't doing that in 2013. You know, they considered my business wasn't a business because I didn't have a brick and mortar. And how many, and now we look at our malls that are closing down or whatever, and most of these companies have went online. So it's funny for people. I'll just say this: sometimes it's hard when you're ahead of the game, you know, and most people, and look at the Steve Jobs and stuff like that. He was ahead of his time. So I no longer lack that self-confidence in that area. It's like, you know what they say, everybody not gonna see your vision. That's true. That's true. I've lived it.
You've lived it. And with lasers, we are doing something. This is a game-changing moment now, even for the industry, where we are not afraid to sound the alarm. We are not afraid to speak on those topics that other people shy away from. I'm coming into your inbox. Listen, finances are essential. Being able to have a positive attitude. How are you going to weather the storm, especially if you are the blueprint? I'm the first in my family. Actually, I wouldn't even say first because my sister's the bomb.com. I watched her do it first. When you say what gave me the courage, I watched her do it first, Latoya, and it set the pace for me. I watched her work hard. never watched anybody work. So please don't sleep on entrepreneurship. You don't want to work a 9 to 5, 8 hours a day, but baby, you're going to work 14, 16 hours a day, 60 weeks. Some people struggle with 40 hours. In entrepreneurship, you do 60 to 70 on a good week, right?
Yeah.
And weeks you're not paid, that's unpaid. Just like
Yes, to get paid on the back end
you get
of
paid
all that hard work.
chasing people down for invoices. So please, if you didn't hear anything in what I'm saying today, please prepare adequately for entrepreneurship.
Talk about the financial literacy. So what are some things that you how you help your clients on that part?
Well, listen, we go through your bank statements, Latoya. We do 7-day no spend challenges. I had tried 21, but they was like, Coach
Yeah.
Avery tried us. So I pulled it back to 7 days. I teach my students to build up that muscle to save 25% of their income. Pay yourself first.
Mhm.
Open your business accounts now. You need about 5 business accounts, and every dollar that comes into that account has a job.
Mhm.
Yes, you
Mhm.
taxes. You do. You cannot keep evading the tax man. He will shut your
Right.
business. Yes, you
Or
need.
freeze that account.
Thank you. You need an account for payroll.
Mhm.
Free. I ain't gonna give you all 5, but about it is you need it, and this is a muscle you need to be building right now. You need to be networking with people. So often when we talk about financial literacy, it's heavily laced in education. Just by me saying yes to you, I've learned so much, right? SEP, which is self-employment, which is
Mhm.
that in that P pension. There are funds available for us, right? I say funds, but you have mutual funds, you have different things like
Right.
that. Now is the time while you're on that 9 to 5. Why are you not taking advantage of the NFTs? Why are you not
Mhm.
making investment? Why are you not doing that while you have the quote unquote comfortability and safety of that 9 to 5? Please start putting money to the side for your 401k, and
Yes.
please open up the statements. Do not tell Coach A. Marie that somebody else is managing your money. You need to manage your money.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
need
You
to
need to know what's going on. Mm-hmm.
you need
Mm-hmm.
to know your retirement plans, because you've been on the other side of this, having to share with somebody, oh, your loved one didn't have life insurance. Now we need a GoFundMe.
Right.
Please,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, think it's a game. It's not. It'll be a game changer for you. And,
Mm-hmm.
and so just, the money, life insurance is needed. Health insurance is needed. Please get in the rooms with people who are intelligent enough beyond Google and YouTube. Let me
Right.
say it. Please get in the room with people who are licensed and intelligent enough to tell you the truth, to sit down and say to you, Latoya, what does your rich life look like? Coach
Mhm.
A, what does your rich life look like? It looks like my daughters and my children's children not having to lack for anything. It looks like my daughters being able to say to whomever has to be their caregiver, that my mama left this for me. My daddy left this for me. Go get my money. Those are the types of daughters that I'm raising right now who understand financial literacy. We did a journal today. She teaches classes, Latoya, and she said to me, Mom, I am going to create one product for everything that I'm going to consume. Watch this. If it's Netflix, if it's HBO,
Mhm.
if it's Disney Plus, you need one passive income product to handle those, because my daughters will be producers. They ain't just gonna be consumers.
Mhm.
That's how I teach my students at A. Marie University. I teach you just like I would teach my children.
Right. Well, now the next thing I want to talk about, because I want to make sure we hit these points. Let's talk about your, and then I'm come back to something. Well, I tell you what, let me go ahead and hit that while we're on that financial literacy. When you was talking about life insurance too, what people really don't understand, they look at it just like you were saying, if somebody passes, if you have a business, guys, you definitely need to have those policies in place. You definitely need to have those policies in place. How do you think that people are able to pass those businesses down through generations to generations? There's taxes that have to be paid and everything. A lot of times when people don't have those policies put in place, that's when they have to sell the business. They have to sell family land and property and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're trying to keep your assets in your family, I'm telling you, you definitely want to make sure that you have those policies set in place. So that's something, if you get with Coach A. Marie, that's something that you definitely want to have that conversation with her about, because life insurance is not just a death benefit. It has more benefits than you think. It really does. Let's get into your A. Marie University. So let's talk about that, because you're now taking students for the March classes, right?
I am. I
Okay.
actually have students right now, and what I like to share with people, first and foremost, is an online platform. I know what it feels like to have to get up and work that 9 to 5 and then sit in like a college course. You were exhausted, we're tired. And so I have it set up right now where it's built on an online platform that you can take the classes on demand. Inside the university, we touch on elevating your mind. Most people think, Latoya, that you could just, pick it up and do it.
Mhm.
Entrepreneur is one of the best investments I've made in myself, because it's put me in rooms with people who are willing to share things with me that I just couldn't get from a book, right?
Mhm.
Share my life story. I also share case stories with students who've seen success, and not just success, who failed, right? Sometimes my students have to rinse, wash, and repeat and get up.
Mhm.
Not because the curriculum isn't good. Sometimes we just don't listen. And that's even me. I go through the curriculum with my students. We do assessments, right? I'm real big on behavioral assessments and personality type things to
Mhm.
make alignment with actually what they can perform, right?
Right.
We can do a lot of things, but are you doing what you're supposed to be doing, right?
That's true.
So Amory University is designed, it's an 8-week program. We meet bi-weekly. It's not overwhelming. My students tell me that it is a phenomenal pace. We do connect though in a group coaching setting, because that's the community piece. Whenever you leap, I always encourage you, never leap alone,
Mhm.
right? Business by yourself. Don't do what Latoya had to do
Right.
10 years ago, right? Right now, you have online communities that I connect you
Mhm.
with, but I also have mentors inside of the university who are subject matter experts. These are other 7, 8, 9 figure earners, and some of them have earned the $1 million status as well. But the
Mhm.
beauty, willing to pour back. They're willing to pour back into you and give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because the worst thing that you could do is build a business that you grow to hate.
Yeah.
Nobody wants,
Yeah.
right? And so, but yeah, that's a little bit about Amory University, and I can share with you the links if you like,
Please do.
questions that you have for the students who are out there and you're trying to figure out, is this for me? I would challenge you, right? How are you feeling right now? How do you feel on a
Mhm.
Sunday evening when you think about going into that work office, be it corporate, be it retail, be it um, physical activity? I have people in the health, industry and stuff like that, in the school system. How do you feel when it's time to go back to work? Do you have anxiety? Are you falling out on the floor? Do you transform and become an entirely different person? Your family is like, oh, there go mama. She knows she got her. And then now you just flipping over tables in your house. If that's you, and this is for men too. If you feel like you're burdened down and your family and your household is depending on you and you feel like there's no way out, you feel like you're being choked out, I want to encourage you or challenge you to get on my calendar. When you click that link, it'll be a calendar link from amarietalks.com. And I'll drop that link here for Latoya real quick. I don't have access to be able to share my screen because I'm on my phone, but
Okay.
I'm going to drop, it'll be for www.amarietalks.com. On the right-hand side, I'm going to challenge you to get on my calendar. And before anyone gets on my calendar, Latoya, they have to watch a video. And that video that they have to watch is me jumping from 300 feet in the air. I literally take a nose dive. My body is literally going across water. My daughters watched me do that jump. They said, my mom must be crazy or out of her mind. But the reason why I do that is because I never want to forget what that feels like. My students have the pleasure of a teacher, an educator, a trainer, like I said, an author, a coach who's passionate about this, guys. I'm not just up here telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I live.
Mhm.
When you that epic exit, there's nobody but you and Jesus. It's nobody but you and
Mhm.
you're going to be looking all around. There's a lot of noise that's going on, and you have to pull that cord. You have to write that resignation letter. You have to start that business. You have to step out on faith. And Amory University helps you do that. We help you prepare. We take you through the transition of the head work, the heart work, and then the footwork that's required for you to be a successful entrepreneur. And I'm Coach Amory. I hope that I have given you guys some energy. I hope that I've moved you in such a way that wherever you are right now, something has to change and something has to break, because you're at that breaking point. If you're listening now, you stayed on, you are at that breaking point, and now is the time for you to do something about it.
Oh, well, Anne-Marie, I want to thank you so much for doing this, for me and for my audience. And I just hope that they got something out of it. I hope that they would go and check out your website and reach out to you if they're looking to leave their 9 to 5 and start entrepreneurship. And like you said, it's not for everybody. I tell that to people all the time. If you're just looking for a hustle, yeah, I can give you some steps, but my heart, is with those people that are really, they want that career change. They're true entrepreneurs, because I take business seriously as well. I love it. I do. I love you have to have that love-hate relationship, really, because you have to love the ups, you hate the downs, but when you're not in that element, it's like you miss it, you're like, it's like a part of you, is missing. So if you're that type of person, that's the type of person that needs to come to you, those that truly have that love and that passion for business and can see themselves doing far more than they ever thought they could, with their current job. Because some places are just a job, everywhere, not a career. Some places some things are just a job. It's just a job, and you'll never be stretched to your greatest potential if you're just doing that. You won't. One thing about business is it's going to recreate you over and over and over again. You'll look back next year and you're not the same person you were in 2022. You're not going to be the same person in 2023. I know definitely I'm not the same person that I was when I started, and I took some turns. But we're here to help you and to guide you, connect you with the right people, like you said, professional development. Oh my gosh, like that is a lost art now. It's hard to just find people with great attitudes and even want to give customer service and know how to talk to people. That's another thing.
And let's talk about sales skills.
Yes.
Tell people, you tell me you don't like selling to people. Entrepreneurship is selling. I mean, LaToya sell herself, and I had to sell myself to her. Professional development, and I encourage people. I have some people who enroll who decide it's not for them. I have come to me with business ideas, but all in all, you're right, LaToya. I think what you're sharing with the people today is so essential. Try it. You'll never know whether or not you can do it without trying it.
You have to take that. You have to take that leap. You have to take that jump. And I just think we all have gifts and talents and skills, and there's something, if that's what you want to do, there's room for you. There's room for everybody, because I know me, I'm a person, I get in my lane and I stay in my lane, but there's things that I'm not going to know that somebody else does, because that's their thing. They pick up on it easy. We need those people. It's like, we need you, we need you out here. So I just would encourage them, like I said, to reach out to you and really talk to you more about what it is that you have to offer. And like you said, sometimes it could be you they're working with, they could be working with me or somebody else or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't have to be one. It may be a blend that you need, because we don't always get everything out of one person or one thing.
Right.
Yeah. So, but you have to invest in yourself. Never be afraid to invest in yourself. It's worth it.
Yeah. And if you're not ready to move forward, that's okay too.
Yeah.
You can connect with me on social media at Amory Talks. You can download a freebie that I have right now. When I talk and I speak on platforms, and it's the Epic 9 to 5 exit checklist. I encourage every person to go through this checklist. It's not like the traditional one. It really digs into your personal life, your professional life, to see, are you really ready to make this leap? And I do that with my students, because I don't want to serve anybody at a low level. I want to make sure I'm the right coach for you, right? So if you put in the promo code QUIT, I just believe there's something powerful about you declaring that you're going to be out of there. QUIT, quit. And that will give you access to it. It'll also add you to our newsletter and different things like that. So we have other mini workshops and classes. You have access to it as well. And so, it can be done. If you desire this, it can be done. I'm a mother raising two beautiful daughters in the midst of a pandemic. And look at me.
Yeah.
It can be done. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
It can be done. It can be done. Oh, well, thank you again. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing all the information. Please make sure that I have all your links and everything, because I am going to post that so they know exactly where to go. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to A-Marie, or you can put those questions in our comment section, and we can make sure that that I get those answered for you guys. Okay, so don't ever be afraid to leave your information behind, because we want to make sure that we get to everybody. Okay, again, thank you so much, and make sure you follow her on her links, guys. If you're not following the Power Management page on Facebook, make sure you follow Power Management Group. All of these videos will be on my Facebook page on Power, that's with 2 R's, POWERR Management Group on Facebook, and then follow me on Instagram as well. So that's where all the flyers and all the information will always be posted. A-Marie, I want you to come back again. Don't let this be the first and the last, because I want to keep up on what you have going on and how the university is growing and developing, because I know that probably by summer, you're going to be doing something else amazing. And I know the university is going to be growing and all of that. So please keep in touch, and then let's make time to do this again. Okay.
Perfect. Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And you all have a good night. And I will see you again in a couple of weeks with a new interview. We're going to keep this going in 2022.
That's right.
All right. Bye.